Hello and all, it's My Hero Academia, Chapter 275, Encounter Part 2. And we open up with Shigaraki revealing that not only did he steal the Pussycat's quirk, but all of the data that she had stored in it, so that he can literally find anyone she has ever laid eyes on. That is very, very problematic, as she has laid eyes on all of the students, and probably most of the professional heroes, or at least most of the big shot heroes in the Hero Society, so yeah, he can basically track down any hero he wants and steal their quirk. Very, very, very bad. And so then we see Endeavor not really listening to Deku's plan here until he realizes that Deku is in fact right. He did in fact alter his course, and he is now chasing after Deku and Bakugo. Though I really do like that he was upset and worried that Midoriya was in danger. It's definitely a sharp contrast from the Endeavor we're currently seeing in the latest chapter, Vigilantes. That was a very, very, very dark Endeavor. And speaking of Vigilantes, the next chapter of My Hero Academia, it's off next week, then comes out early the following week, comes out on the same day as the next chapter of Vigilantes. And there is some speculation online that maybe the two are going to overlap somehow, some way. I mean, this whole, evacuation operation, I could definitely see Eraserhead calling up the Crawler or Pop to help evacuate people. Civilians outside of the hero ranks don't really have to worry about them secretly being deep undercover spies or anything like that, and he has worked with them in the past, so he knows that that's something they could do well, and they need all the backup they can get, so I could certainly see them making an appearance in the next chapter. I mean, unlikely, but it'd definitely be a really cool crossover. I really like to see that. I mean, we had the whole, Aizawa's childhood best friend. That entire storyline was revealed in Vigilantes, and now it's like, oh no, that's a major plot point for the main series as well. So, you never know. Anyway, it's at this point that Deku realizes that Bakugo is right behind him. Deku, I know you're kind of distracted, I know there's a lot in your mind right now. Bakugo moves by creating explosions. Very, very loud explosions. And you did not notice he was right behind you this entire time. Just Jesus. And, I really do like Bakugo in this chapter. I think he really has a good chance to shine. I'm very glad I wore my Bakugo shirt today. Woo, woo! And I do love his explanation here. He's basically saying, listen, Deku, I'm the only one here who actually understands what All for One is, what One for All is. And I know what needs to be done here without you having to give me some long, long explanation while you're currently running for your life. So it obviously makes the most amount of sense that I'm going to be the one here giving you some backup. Though I do just love his next line. Don't get a big head about follow you. You think you're the main character now or something? Yes, Bakugo, I absolutely think that Deku is the main character of the series. I mean, don't get me wrong, this series with Bakugo as the main character, that definitely has some potential. Like, this guy who always gifted, always powerful, all of a sudden his childhood friend is like way stronger, way more powerful than him fighting to overcome him fighting to, become the number one, even if his quirk isn't as strong as Deku's is. I kind of like that. It could be interesting. But he also has a whole lot of unfinished business after, Shigaraki kidnapped him. Yeah, not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about that whole storyline. It was so very, very long ago, but Shigaraki kidnapped Bakugo, had him tied to a chair for quite a while. And then Bakugo attempted to kill him. Didn't go well. But here he also expresses his guilt over being the one to put an end to All Might. That's something he is still not over. He knows that sooner or later All Might was going to run out of juice. He was going to run out of power. But it was because of him that he had to do it that day. That he had to fight with everything he had and essentially give up being a hero. Give up being the number one. Reveal that how truly broken and weak he really was. So just a quick side note. My absolute favorite moment in this entire series, besides anything involving Eri, is when the people see All Might, when they see his withered form, and they don't give up. They don't give up hope. They say, you might be broken, but he's still the All Might we know. He's still he's still the hero that always wins. And they just cheer for him. And it's, oh my god, it's such an amazing moment. It's such a wonderful moment. It's my favorite moment in the entire series. Anyway, then Bakugo goes all villain face again. One for All is just the bait, because I'm the one who'll get payback for that day. It's a perfect chance to rack up a win. So yeah, he's basically just calling Deku live bait to lure in Shigaraki so he can beat the snot out of him. Such a Bakugo thing to say. I absolutely love it. Also get an update on Deku's powers. Right now, he can use full Kaling consistently at 30%, and when he goes in for the blows, he can push that all the way up to 45% without damaging his body all that much. And once more, Bakugo is worried about being left behind, being the loser that he always thought Deku was, not being number one, so he pushes himself to run ahead, to surpass Deku, even if just for a moment, right here, right now, going full speed against him. Anyway, then things get terrifying. I mean, first off, Shigaraki combines air blast with radio waves to essentially fry all of their communications. That is worrying. That is very, very worrying. It's not just some decision of a brash kid. That's a well thought out strategy, a good plan. Shigaraki seems like he's smarter now, like he's more well prepared, like he is better in a fight than he used to be and can think things through clearly. His mind isn't as broken as it used to be. And then in the span of about 2 seconds, Shigaraki appears right next to Deku and Bakugo. And we see them start to fall apart, be destroyed by his quirk. Not gonna lie, I was very worried here, trying to figure out what was gonna happen. Maybe Deku would unlock a healing quirk, or Eri would show up and do a time reverse thing to stop the damage. Thankfully, though, that was just in their mind, as they are so overwhelmed by his bloodlust, they actually feel their bodies being torn to pieces. That is terrifying. That is really, truly terrifying. I mean, the first time they saw All For One, they felt that Deku, Ida, the rest of them, they were all left frozen in fear, unable to move, they were unable to do anything but just shake on the ground as they felt the fear of death coming off of him in waves. And here it is once more. Also interesting, Shigaraki's confirming that, yes, the voice in his head is telling him to get One For All, to obtain that power. So I do think the original All For One is inside the quirk somehow, some way, like talking to him, giving him advice, essentially ordering around, and could eventually take over him completely. That maybe that's why he's thinking better, more clearly, because they aren't his thoughts, they're All For One's thoughts. Anyway, then thankfully Gran Torino shows up, and hey, he's not dead. You never know with that wave of destruction. Though I do love his line. Were you kids looking to scrap with that thing? Yeah. They kind of were. I mean, they were hoping just to, lead him astray, get him to follow them the opposite direction, but they were essentially courting death right there. And he also gives some more terrifying details about Shigaraki's quirk. Even getting hit by stray rubble that was affected by the destruction will kill you. As you see this terrifying, terrifying shot of this hero just being hit by a little piece of rock and then just dying, seeing his face fall apart, knowing there's nothing he can do, knowing there's no way he can stop his own death. That is horrifying. That is truly, truly horrifying. But he does say something very, very interesting afterwards. As you are now, you don't stand a chance. So he's saying that there will come a time, there will come a moment when you two can stand up against Shigaraki, but just not yet, not quite yet. Very, very interesting. So he has faith in them eventually being able to stand up and take him out. And his next line is literally him saying the heroes are still kicking. They're gonna be the ones to take him down right here, right now. But even though he said that, I don't think he actually believes it. I don't think he actually thinks they can win this fight. I think he knows they're gonna lose. Or at the very least, he's prepared for that to be a possibility. And then we see Eraserhead. He is alive and well, thank God. Little upset that Crust had to die to save him. Which, I mean, do you really need to add on more motivation for him to hate Shigaraki? Besides the horrific inhuman experiments they did to the corpse of his best friend, don't forget that Shigaraki had that Nomu pound his face into the ground repeatedly, almost destroyed his arm. This is going to be the rematch between them, and I am super excited for it. I mean, Aizawa is essentially the only thing that can stop Shigaraki. His only weakness, essentially. So yeah, Eraserhead versus Destruction for All. I mean, like I said, it's his one weakness. It feels like he's going to be the only one who can stop him, but at the same time, eventually Eraserhead does need to blink. I feel like in that moment, Shigaraki can, escape, get out of his range, move behind him, do something where he's put in danger, where he's at risk. And of course, then there's good old Giganto, who is on his way. Let's not forget that he is on his way with Probably Toga, Dabi, Mr. Compress. Well, his quirk may be gigantification. The size we've seen him at in the past is, I think, his smallest size. I'm pretty sure that's as small as he gets. So even without a quirk, even with his quirk nullified, he is still an incredibly powerful force that could easily crush Aizawa. So that's very concerning. So the two things you have to look out for next chapter is Aizawa blinking and Giganto showing up. Also, maybe a crossover with Vigilantes. Unlikely but possible. I would like to see that. But please, let me think all this down below. Aizawa versus Shigaraki. Who's gonna win? I mean, seriously, how is this fight gonna end? I mean, Shigaraki can find Deku, I guess, no matter where he is on the planet, so it's not like he can, escape and go into hiding and counterattack later on. My only real hope here is that Shigaraki is going to reach his limit. He's going to reach a point where he can't keep going anymore, limit of his powers as he currently is, because don't forget, the process didn't finish. It was only at like 80%. So he's still not at his maximum potential. And even if he was, he literally just woke up. So I don't know, maybe he's going to just, pass out at one point. Giganto's going to show up. They're going to escape and go into hiding somewhere. And then all the rest of the heroes are going to have to start preparing, the students as well, Deku especially, for the return of Shigaraki, the return of Destruction for All, and everything that's going to entail. Essentially a lot of death. As for death flags, Aizawa, I could definitely see him getting killed, though the much, much bigger concern is him losing his quirk. Seriously, if Shigaraki gets the power to nullify quirks, which... why? Seriously, all for one, why did you not go after Aizawa, day one? His quirk would be the best possible thing for you to have. It has been shown to work against One for All, so, you would have already been able to beat All Might very, very easily. I know the doctor said at one point that the erasing quirk is the one he really wanted, but why not go after it? If it's that valuable, if it could be that useful, if it's literally your only weakness right now, why did you not go after it? Anyway, other death flags. Bakugo, same thing. Good chance he could end up losing his quirk or getting killed, severely injured, something happening to him. I mean, a whole, emotional speeches chapter about how he doesn't want to be a loser, how he wants to succeed Deku, how he wants to overcome him and become the number one. That's death flag talk I've ever seen it. I still think Uraraka is in trouble right now because she was seen, looking after Deku. I could see her following after him, trying to help him escape. Gran Torino, definitely. I mean, he is really old. He really should not be on this battlefield anymore. I could see Shigaraki throwing a piece of decay at them, hitting Gran Torino, and then him pushing Deku and Bakugo out of the way so that he takes the blow instead of them, clearing the way for the next generation, something like that. But let me think of all this down below. Who's going to live? Who's going to die? Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? Be sure to like, subscribe to the next video. And until then,
peace.